Not a fun night of baseball there, Mr. Barber. What's happening, buddy? How are you?
So last year when we first came on to WFAN, we started watching a lot of Yankees and a lot of Mets, Knicks as well, even though you always watch the Knicks, Giants.
I watch everything. What do you mean? I've been watching my whole life.
Yeah, but I was hardly paying attention to the Knicks when we were on the national show. Keep an eye on the Yankees, obviously, because I'm a Yankee fan. But when we first started this show, there was something that was just glaringly obvious about the construction of this Yankees team. And it centered around the guy who was waiting to get broke off, Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge, when he didn't hit last year, the Yankees struggled to score. I didn't say they didn't win. I was never saying, oh, they suck without Aaron Judge. That's not the point. It was when he didn't hit, this team did not score a lot of runs. And last night, we saw the same thing occur. So it's been over a year. And the Yankees feel like they're in the same situation that they were in last year. When their superstar, their catalyst, their captain, their leader is not in this lineup, or if he is and he doesn't hit, they struggle to score. And as bad as that is, now Josh Donaldson's hit some home runs since he's been back, 3 in the 4 games he's been back. You give him credit, but Harrison Bader is out. You got Volpe struggling. Rizzo's had some injury issues with his neck. Stanton, I know he's back, but he's not really doing much. Like, it just feels like there's an ineptitude with this offense without Aaron Judge. Mm-hmm. And as bad as that sounds, it's not even their biggest problem, BT. The biggest problem is that their starting rotation cannot sustain this up and down, this let's pull up this kid. Brito's going to come up. Now it's Vasquez who's going to come up because they're trying to manage a starting rotation that is grossly inconsistent. We've seen them do this. Aaron Boone back in, what year was that, 2018? Or what was the year they had a ton of, 2019.
Yeah, right before COVID, yep.
A ton of injuries, and Aaron Boone managed the hell out of them.
He did.
Right? He should have been manager of the year that year, and because of how he handled all of the injury issues that were thrown his way. He's getting the same thing, and they're 10 games over 500, so he's managing it well. But this is different because the starting rotation loses now Nestor Cortez at least 2 weeks before he throws again.
Yep.
He's likely going to be out much longer than that, right? Severino looked good in one start, gets smashed around in another. Clark Schmidt, I'm not even getting on Clark Schmidt because he had a quality outing last night.
Pitched well.
Giving up 3 runs giving up over 6 innings. Yep. But when you get to the point where you're scrapping and you're trying to piece together a rotation, you're racking your brain. All right, which one of these kids is we bringing up? The plan happens every day as opposed to, a month out. The Yankees are going to fall into a trap of chasing success as opposed to knowing that they're going to have success. And we've talked about this kind of off the cuff here and there. It might be time for them to trade Gleyber Torres for a starting pitcher. Now, I don't know who that is because I went and tried to look. Who's the guy that's going to be available? Milwaukee's not
the guy that beat him last night.
Giolito could be, but Corbin's not going anywhere because Milwaukee's going to steal that division because nobody else is stepping up and winning it. There's just not a ton of options.
No.
But the Yankees have to find an option to combat this injury bug that's starting to creep into their starting rotation as well as being everywhere else in the position players.
All right, so you think the pitching's the bigger issue?
I think the pitching will be the bigger issue. Right now, they don't score, right? With Aaron Judge banged up. And now we're hearing Darren Boone saying it's going to be weeks, not just...
We might not see Judge till the All-Star break.
I mean... The Yankees are going to slide then.
Okay, but
because the pitching
but your
is
greatest fear is the pitching.
The scoring is the issue, but the thing that I'm scared of most
longer term
is the pitching.
Okay, I got you. I just want to make sure
they have to make a move for a pitcher.
I genuinely disagree. I really believe that the bigger issue is the hitting. But the fact that it's debatable tells us how much trouble the Yankees are in the next month. Let me just warn everybody. Get ready for a boring, lifeless, losing baseball. Because that's what we're looking at with the Yankees. The New York Yankees, until Judge comes back, the savior. Oh, the Messiah is... Please, get back soon.
I wish it wasn't that way.
Well, but not only are they not going to be good, they're going to be borderline unwatchable. Every time he gets hurt, they suck. All right? Last night's lineup, in the outfield, you had IKF, a shortstop, third baseman, catcher, now in the outfield, Bowers, a first baseman turned outfielder who's got a little pop, whatever.
Yeah. I don't mind Bowers.
No, me neither. If you have 2 other horses out there, it's fine. And then you've got Calhoun, who is whatever. He just bounces around and whatever. You had Volpe in the 5-hole. The Yankees scored 2 runs on 3 measly hits, one of which came from Donaldson late. To a little cosmetic. Listen, gives you a pulse and makes it 3-2, whatever. And obviously he crushed it.
Makes it looks like it was close.
Yeah, and the stadium caught fire, and then, rough at bat, Volpe, whatever, and they didn't generate everything. Every ball was hit to Tim Anderson, hit it short at that point, and they lost. But I'm just telling you, even if you're partially right, or we're both right, the bigger deal is that the New York Yankees are going to lose a lot of games in the next month. They cannot win without Aaron Judge. They're not structured properly to win without Aaron Judge. You throw, I'm not going to say Clark Schmidt threw an absolute gem last, but he was fine. He was more than functional.
You're right.
You lose.
This is the White Sox we're talking about.
That's what's going to happen more times than not. Here's the problem, and I'm with you on this. The next month or so, they're going to have some games where their pitchers give up, crooked numbers early. You're into the pen, and then the residual damage to the pen downstream is a bigger issue. We'll have to tackle in about a month or so. But they will have some awful starts. I do agree with that. But I think the biggest issue is that when they get good starts, they're not going to score enough runs to capitalize on the good starts.
Which is what happened last night.
And I'm sure it's going to happen to Garrett Cole. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
This team can't hit without Judge. What do they do?
This is where, and Dove said this yesterday, and I brought it to air, and he's right. The Yankees have 4 more off days in June, which is a lot of off days.
That's a lot of days, yeah.
And so they can almost manufacture this rotation to they can almost make it work. But it's only going to work if Garrett Cole goes out there and gives you 6 or 7 innings, or if Domingo Germán, he's giving you 6 innings and not giving up 1 or 2 runs, right? If Clark Schmidt has another good outing like he had,
Severity.
but then you're relying,
a lot of questions.
But you're relying on Johnny Brito. You're relying on Vasquez. Aaron Boone doesn't. He's not the bullpenning type, so he's not going to go that route. And so I just see them as stuck. And while they may be able to Band-Aid through June, it's not something that's sustainable, especially if Rodon is still, 2 months away, or if Nestor has a setback with a shoulder, what they call it, strain. Yeah, because Judge had a sprain, a toe sprain. Yep. Nestor has a shoulder strain in his throwing arm. I don't see how this is manageable.
It's not.
Through the long term.
It's not.
And by long term, I mean more than a month.
It's
right?
not.
And so they have to think about making a trade. They have to do something. Now, I don't know how to do it. I don't know who goes. Probably Glaber, and maybe that opens a hole for Peraza, who's been raking down in the minor leagues. But the target is hard to even think about. Like, Brian Cashman really has his job cut out for him in the next month and a half before the All-Star
I'm very happy
break.
that you brought me into Brian Cashman. Yeah, you're right. Brian Cashman's got his work cut out for him over the next month or so, because Brian Cashman, the last couple of years, has not done a good job. Listen,
the reason that we're in this
why
spot,
do you think we're sitting here with all these Band-Aids, AAA players, back-of-roster guys who are actually starting and playing prominent roles? Because I don't want to say that the Yankees organizationally got lucky with Aaron Judge, but he wasn't drafted first or second. They took a little bit of a flyer on a kid with a big body and an elite toolbox, but a little hole in the swing. And yes, they coached him up, they polished him up, and then obviously Judge put in the work, and he's a superstar. What else do they have really going for them? There's no evidence. I know that we talk about, and I really like Rizzo as a ball player. How could you not?
Yeah.
But there's been no evidence at this stage in his career that Rizzo can carry a baseball team for 3 weeks. He's going to bang the occasional bomb. He's a terrific first baseman. The numbers are really good, although they're dropping. The numbers are fine. I think he's an all-star this year for the most part.
Yep.
But if anybody thinks that, like, Rizzo without Judge is going to carry this team, it's not going to happen. He's not that kind of a thumper. He's not that kind of a player. So everywhere I look, right, Tiki's right, holes in the rotation. I'm right. Holes in the lineup. Why? Because the GM did not construct a good roster. And every single time, now I'm getting tired of talking about these general managers here. Between Billy Epler and Brian Cashman, they both stink. If you put together both rosters, I don't even know if we have a championship team that way. We might not. But I think that when Judge is out, it shines a spotlight and it illuminates the poor job that Brian Cashman has done. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
You can't argue with that. Now, part of this is luck. And I mean by luck, I mean lack of luck. They just haven't been very lucky with injuries. Things have just been it's Harrison Bader, who's hurt at the beginning of the season, comes back. He strains a hamstring.
He was also hurt last year, so you acquired a player who's got a little injury history, and he's hurt again. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to refute everything you say, but you got him when he was hurt. He's hurt again.
I'm pausing, BT, because you know what I want to say.
Okay.
And I'm resisting saying it.
Now, by the way, Montgomery's done nothing. Yeah. So it's not. But I didn't have the Bader Montgomery thing.
For those who don't know what my history with injuries, if you are consistently hurt, I'm calling you a bad sell guy, which means you're going to always be hurt. I'm resisting that with Bader right now.
Me too.
Maybe because he's a New Rochelle guy or a Westchester guy, wherever he's from up there. Bronxville guy up in the Westchester area.
I see Hoff perk up his boy.
Maybe I'm resisting it because he's one of our own, in a sense. He's from this area.
And we love his energy.
But
we love his as a player.
The dude's been hurt a lot.
Been hurt a lot.
He's been
hurt.
And
Stanton, always hurt.
Stanton, always
Donaldson,
hurt.
always hurt.
Donaldson,
LeMahieu,
but he just
always hurt.
DJ, hurt.
I mean, yeah.
And so
this is where we are.
Part of this I want to say is luck. Bad luck.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also know that you kind of knew that this was happening. You knew that you were bringing in guys that had injury history.
Not to mention Rodon and Montas and all the pitchers. I mean, yeah, it's
now if Rodon
very problematic.
and Montas and all these, if they were healthy, I wouldn't feel.
He's got to shave the mustache. It's bothering me.
But
I just see him hanging over the dugout like a slob. If you're not going to pitch, I don't know. He just looked at that. Did you see the picture of him in Dodger Stadium?
I did.
Dude, I mean, you signed a $162 million contract. You threw 3 pitches down in Tampa this spring. He got hurt, and he just laying over the side like a schlump. I don't know why that visual bothered me. I don't know. He just looked like
he actually looked,
Super Mario.
He
brother.
looked good with a beard.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, with the stash.
But the policy, you're not allowed to have a beard if you're on the Yankees. Listen, Tiki, you always go back to the bad sell thing. I haven't gone to this statement as often because it hasn't applied as much. It's going to be a roller coaster for both of these teams.
Yep.
We're going to come in certain days, we're going to be on top of the world. And then other days we're going to come in and we're going to lament the state of both teams. And that's just the way it is. A lot of highs. I think there'll be more lows this season. There's so many questions and too many contingencies. When you think about this, when you build a plan that's based on variables, not constants, but like variables that you truly either don't know what's going to happen or too often the wrong thing has happened in the past, that's not a good business model.
No, it's not.
And it applies to both of these teams. And specifically the Yankees, their offense without Judge is awful. It is minor league-ish. 877-337-6666. All right, let's get to you. We'll get to the Mets and the Braves a little bit later. Tough one, we know. We're inside of our Town Fair Tire studio. Friends at Town Fair remind you that you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. First up, Mike Hackensack. What's going on, Mikey?
What's up, Mike?
What's going on is I am so frustrated watching these Yankees. Last night was terrible. I mean, this Giolito was like Cy Young last night. And you're right. This team is not constructed to win without Aaron Judge. And he is when he's on, he's raking. But this lineup, we are in trouble. So, Tiki, I think you're right. It's time to do something. Let's trade Glaber. Let's get a pitcher. Let's get a pitcher here just because we need one.
Yeah.
And let's bring Peraza up. Let's let this guy play second base. And this year's done. It's done.
Well, I mean, that's all right. That's Mike. I mean, Mike, come on.
It is salvageable, but so much has to go right.
Salvageable to what? To maybe make the playoffs?
Yeah.
That's not enough.
No, they're going to make the postseason. I'm not worried about that.
I think we're going to win the World Series every year.
Well, no, I don't think that. No. To that point, Mike, I'm with you. I'm with you.
This doesn't feel like a World Series team right now.
No.
Now, if Rodon gets healthy, if Montas is not pitching it,
he's out for the year. Montas,
I know, but he's like back in maybe type of thing. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, I'm just saying nobody knows when Rodon's coming back, and let me tell you, this Judge toe thing, I'm concerned.
Me too.
He may be out longer than we think.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, Mike, that's a good point. I'm gonna appreciate your call. So you remember in what year was this? 1999 maybe? Yeah, it was 1999. Cowboys. We played on Monday night.
Okay.
You know the story. I've told you the story. I returned a punt for a touchdown. We won the game because I caught a crossing route underneath and took it down the sideline. And Deion
caught you.
He
Yeah.
caught me.
Yeah,
Came
yeah.
from the other side of the field and caught me. And he tackled me from behind. So he grabbed me from behind, and I was on my toe. So I was on my right toe right when he grabbed me, and it twisted my toe, right? So I had a bruise and a ligament sprain in my right toe, and it hurt like hell. And I played through it because in the NFL, you play through stuff like that. You don't sit down you don't get on the 10-day or whatever, 15 or whatever it is, IL. To this day, I still have issues with that toe.
Really?
Because I didn't let the swelling go down.
Yep.
And so it calcifies. And so it basically became like bone. And so I have this massive like growth on my toe from where I sprained that toe. I think that's exactly what Aaron Judge has. And so treating it right now is of paramount importance. Like I had a football mind. I was like, that's all right, whatever. It's just got some swelling. It'll be okay. And thing still hurts. To this day, it hurts. That was 23 years ago, 22 years ago. It still hurts. So I know we look at this Aaron Judge thing and we're like, yeah, it'll be it.
I'm not saying it's going to be no big deal. I'm not saying that.
I hope it's no big deal. It could be a really big
Listen,
deal.
I remember yesterday, I thought this was a big issue because when you get hurt on Saturday and you don't play on Sunday, when you have the off day on Monday and it's ESPN's main game, Yankees, Dodgers, of course, Judge wants to be in there. It's a marquee matchup. I know it's not like Monday Night Football. That's 101-62, but still, that's a high-profile game. He's hitting the hell out of the baseball. He's on pace for the MVP. So when he sits out Sunday, I'm like, all right, give him one rest, whatever, just win the series. And then the off day Monday, during our show yesterday at about, 12:15, it comes, he's already ruled out. I'm like, this is a problem. He's not even at the ballpark yet, and he's not playing tonight, meaning last night? Yeah. So when I say get ready for some boring, lifeless, and in all probability, losing baseball for the Yankees, get ready for it. Because without Judge, they're not good, period. 877-337-6666. Tiki and Tierney right here on the Fan. All right, more of your calls. We'll get to the Mets and the Braves later. And, the more I thought about this, and we touched on it a little bit yesterday, I didn't like it yesterday, but the more I thought about it, the longer and deeper the day went, I got a real problem with Robert Saleh taking the Jets off the field. I've got to get back to that later, and we will on the Fan.